the end of class one is, as we say, on your mark. Class two is the most exciting day of the experience. So here it is. They're in different groups, community groups on the left. There's a student group right in the front. There's active campaigns. Students have just presented their campaigns and now they're meeting. They'll exchange information right there. I say you can go to a couple of those. You can go to one and then go to another one if you'd like. So you can hear from different folks. There's movement around the classroom. And that moment, I can't tell you how thrilling it is, that moment right there. Things that I've learned is that you can use out of class time in social action to move campaigns forward. And in this case, to move them into campaigns. As I close the class, I tell them, I'm going to email you with a list of who's coming in. And if you have some ideas for a campaign, send it to me right now. What I realized was my valuable time was not just my FaceTime, but my emailing and my communication through Canvas, if you have that. And then keep on brainstorming with them about other ideas and possibilities. Class two, right? We have those introductions. And then at the end, I say, don't say if you're going to join a group right now. Go home, think about it, and I'm going to email you. And so they email them on that second night after the second class. I email them and says, you've had presentations now. Have any of you thought about, are you ready to make a decision? Are you anyone leaning toward that? I just sent that out. And you'll be surprised. I get 10 to 15 responses. I've decided. You'll get 5 to 7 like that. I've decided this is who I'm going to join. So I put that on the computer screen. I write that down, that campaign. And if there's 3 of them on the first day when I come in on that class 3, they're in a group already. I've got them separated out. They're outside or in the back of the room, and they're not my worry right now. I'll worry about the demands and the targets later, but I get them talking about these questions that I laid out. Now I've got 25 students, right? Some of them are leaning towards, so I say, I'll brainstorm some more with them. I say, are any of these of interest to you, of the ones that we've already talked about? And if not, let's do it right now. What other ideas do you have? Again, a lot of slogans, but I'm in the process right with them, trying to transfer that to a demand, to a target that they could have. And then again, if it's just, we want world peace, we want to disarm our nuclear weapons, I'm like, that's probably not winnable in the next 3 years. And so we should probably think 2 to 3 years. So we should probably think what's winnable. It's a winnowing down. I take 3 classes, class session 2, 3, and 4 to get them into groups. I've always been able to get 35 plus students into 3 to 5 groups. Every once in a while, they'll just choose one group. Around the minimum wage, that happened. By the 4th class of the minimum wage, all 30 students chose minimum wage to work on. So every once in a while that'll happen, but it's generally there'll be 3 to 5 campaigns. But they're in groups. They're in groups by the end of the 4th class. And if at the end of the 4th class, there's a couple of folks that haven't, I'll say, right now, come to my class, come to my office hours, or let's talk tonight. You can't just say, we'll talk about it next class because it's too long. Let's talk about it tonight. I'll call you and let's brainstorm together. I've done it for 14 years, 28 times. After 3 classes, I've always got every student in. So I can do it. Y'all can do it, I'm sure. Students that have just suggested their campaigns for the very first time, and I've asked them to email me, and a lot of times it's a slogan. So it'll be end racism, more transportation, more better public transportation, which I say those are slogans, and I reorient them to start thinking in terms of issues. So what's a specific demand that can be quantifiable? If you want better public transportation, are you talking about more bus drivers for more routes? What routes do you want changed? And if you want those changed, how much is that going to cost to try to get it as specific as possible for a slogan of better public transportation? Another major demand on our campus has been around better mental health services. Well, what does that mean? How many mental health folks do we have on our campus? How many do we need? And then how much is that going to cost? And so forth. This is a process that starts 24 hours before the class happens as an exchange between the students and me that continues in class 2. It'll continue in class 3 and 4 and actually goes all the way through when they turn in the portfolio to me in 3 weeks. They explained what an issue is and the difference between an issue and a problem. and I see it written down, their demands and their targets. And then I come in that following class. If they don't have clear, specific, measurable demands, we will lay it on the line right in that class. I go over and over it, and then they can articulate that by themselves in a portfolio. So it's a process that's really, I would say, 3 or 4 weeks to help them get the difference. But once they get it, they start critiquing other folks and other community groups that are outside of theirs because they've got this knowledge, and then hopefully they can help too. They will leave that class with those clear demands